2012, Sadhguru conducted the program Mahabharat Saga Nanpareya, an exploration of the greatest story ever told. I was leading the music team at that time, and we had to compose the music to accompany Sadhguru's narratives.
This is a story which happened a little over 5,000 years ago.
I assumed somebody else would be interacting with Sadhguru during the program, but somehow it ended up being me. Every day, just 15 minutes before the morning session, two of us would meet him in his room to help plan what he would speak that day and what music would accompany it. Naturally, we had tried to get this information numerous times beforehand, but every time we asked, he would say that he hadn't had time to think about it yet. So when we would enter the room, he would cheerfully, and I suspect mischievously, ask us, "What shall we talk about today?" My mind would swim as I tried to comprehend why he was asking us what he should talk about. Now I know that he was simply including and involving us in the process, as he naturally does with the people around him in every aspect of Isha. After maybe 5 or 6 days, I realized that we had exhausted all our songs, and there were still 2 days to go. I went to Sadhguru at the end of the day, and in exasperation told him, "Sadhguru, we don't have any more songs left." I don't know what I expected him to say, but he just gave me a look, laughed and said, "Then make some more." I got together with the team and said we have to do something. It was 10 p.m., and we would need to play a song the following morning. Though exhausted, we stayed up to compose a new song, calling a volunteer in Mumbai to write some lyrics. Always willing and inspired to help us, he too stayed up the entire night, and jointly, we managed to create a song about Shiva, giving his astra to Arjuna. In the morning, when we told Sadhguru we had this song, he enthusiastically said that in the second session, he would narrate a relevant story and would say a certain line as a cue for us to start the song, so the music would be woven into the story. He repeated the line, so I would get the cue right. After the meeting, we went straight into the hall, and the session started. It was difficult to update the rest of the team about the plan, as we were all sitting on the music dais. But since the song was to be played in the second session, I thought I would update everyone during the break. It so happened in the first session itself, Sadhguru started to narrate the story about the astra. He paused at the line that was our cue to come in with the music. I heard it, but I thought, he said he will do it in the second session. I must have got it wrong, and kept quiet. Sadhguru repeated the line and looked over. Again, no reaction from me, and I missed the opportunity. Sadhguru carried on with the story.
The story is not about somebody. Mahabharata comes under the classification of being itihas. Itihasa is the story of the human being.
Then I realized that I had missed the cue, and the scenes of the team staying up all night tormented me. I was in despair, thinking how stupid I had been, and how I had wasted all their efforts. At the end of the story, Sadhguru looked over at me, smiled, and said, "I think they have a song about the astra. Let's listen to them." I felt so small and grateful to him for embracing us despite my mistake.
Why are we taking these 8 days to tell you this story? We could just give you a printed book, there are many versions. I want you to live through the story. I don't want you to sit in 21st century and make a judgment on people who lived here 5,000 years ago. It's the most unfair thing to do. I'm sure if they come alive now and look at you, they will have horrible judgments to make about you the very way you are.
As destiny would have it, one day during Mahabharata, at our morning meeting, Sadhguru said he had written a new poem called Destiny and wanted to read it to us. There were only a few minutes to go before the session was to start, and we had not discussed anything about what he would talk about. Why aren't we planning for the session, I thought to myself, as he was reading the poem to us, without even the slightest sign of concern that we seemed to have no fixed plan for the day. About halfway through the day, during a short break, Sadhguru called me to the dais and asked me to get the poem. He then started the Q&A session. I searched but couldn't find his poetry book in his room, and I went back to the dais to tell him as he paused before another question. Ask them to check in the house, he said quickly, and continued with the questions. After a few frantic minutes of several people searching, the book was finally found in his car. I found the poem, got it typed out and printed, and gave it to him. This is not the one, he said, and again continued. I realized that in my anxiety, I hadn't paid attention to him in the morning, and had found an older poem also titled Destiny. I quickly found the new poem and got it typed and printed. Just as he finished answering the question, I once again took the opportunity to go up to the dais and handed the paper to him. He looked at it and nodded, and I felt a surge of relief. In the meantime, a woman had just taken the microphone to ask a question. She asked, "What is destiny?" Knowing the beginning and the end, you still have to play the game in the middle. Otherwise, there is no game, because the game is only in the moment. Sadhguru, Mahabharata.